I'm reviewing Avengers movies. Now, I'm going to review Infinity War and Endgame, the ones I hated the most for me. So, now, Infinity War and Endgame are part one and part two of the same story, technically, but they have different titles. I don't know why though. I don't know why they don't gave them both the same title, and title one part another one part two of this, but gave them both the same titles, and one should have been, I think one should have been called Endgame Part 1 and Part 2. It should have been the other one. Or it should have called Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. And the Part 2 should have been the other one. So yeah, I don't know why they went with two different titles. This really makes no sense, because saying that these movies hold terrible as their own standalone movie don't hold really hold up well as their own movie. Neither one. The color grading, or color temperature, Technicolor, also known as, is on screen in both movies is awful looking, and these plot is both films are kind of silly and stupid, but take themselves way too seriously. Both plots take themselves way too serious, and the characters again take them way too seriously. All the Avengers members take themselves way too fucking seriously. More than they need to. And the plot takes itself way too seriously, more than it needs to. This is almost kind of laughable. To point, it's kind of laughable, and you just want to roll your eyes in the back of your head it just makes you. It's kind of shit that makes you roll your eyes in the back of your head, just because how stupid the whole thing is. It's taking itself way too fucking seriously for not even really any reasons for the heck, just to be, just because for the heck of it, it seems, because that's what's the most popular trend. This is, and then the plot is to Infinity War. It's like Thanos is trying to get all 6 Infinity Stones, and if he gets the Infinity Stones, okay, I'm just going to tell you this, if you've seen the promotional material for this, like any trailer at all, or even one trailer to Infinity War, you've seen the entire plot to this movie, and you know what the premise is and dilemma. You just don't know what the ending is. Ending is the only thing doesn't spoil it for you, is the fucking ending. In which the Avengers lose, and Thanos wipes half of all living creatures in the universe. And that's the only thing that's like not in the trailers, is the fucking ending. And the Avengers And you see part of the climax, but you don't see. You see the part of a good chunk of the climax in the trailer when the Avengers go up against Thanos, and it's like this movie gave away way too much. Like once it's said, once Gamora is said in the trailer, says if Thanos gets all 6 Infinity Stones, he'll wipe out the entire more than at least half of all living life. Only half of all living life won't exist anymore. And that's on the trailer, and that's the dilemma in this week, and that's too much that they gave away in that trailer, because yeah. So so Peter, handful of the Avengers run into another handful of Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy. As Thor runs into the Guardians of the Galaxy, and about the rest of the army of Avengers are fighting on Earth. The others are fighting in space to take down Thanos, and the Vision decides to come up with this great idea to take the Mind Stone out of his head, but he has to get murdered in order to. But Captain says, we don't trade lives, even though you should in some cases, Cap. You should trade life in this case. So you're telling you were willing to let the half of all living life in the universe die just so you want to you break your code of not trading lives. So you want to kill Vision and destroy the Infinity Stone that's powering Vision's life. Wow, that's stupid, Cap. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The most insane thing. So yeah, because they don't want to trade lives, because Captain America said so, and Black Widow will agree with that bull crap. Look, again, he's your friend, but at some point you just gotta cross out. You just gotta say fuck it. Because all the Avengers want to take out Vision and to save the universe, so they go to Wakanda to remove the stone. With Wakanda technology, he's running out of time, so therefore Scarlet Witch has to destroy the Infinity Stone while it's still part of Vision, and therefore destroying Vision process. Thanos, after he defeats the Avengers down in space, he goes to Earth, and rewinds time after defeating a bunch of the Avengers. It was with no effort, and while Scarlet Witch is destroying the Mind Stone. Once he's there, and then Thanos uses the Time Stone to of one of the Infinity Stones. He only has 5 now, so he just rewinds Time Stone, and and after Vision the stone got destroyed, he rewinds time and knocks Scarlet Witch out of the way, unconscious. So before she can do anything, and then she rips the stone right out of Vision's head and puts it in the Infinity Gauntlet, and then powers. He's about to go Super Saiyan and snap his fingers. Thor swings the axe at his chest instead of the head, which he should have done. Even Thanos points out that was a pretty stupid thing for Thor to do for not going to the head instead of going for the chest. And he throws the line, "You should have gone for the head," and snaps his fingers and wipes out all of half life of all living things, all living creatures. It's so. That's the Infinity War movie, and Nick Fury movie, he'll get snapped away. At the end credits, you find before Nick Fury goes away, gets snapped away, always like disappears into ashes of ashes. He pages Captain Marvel, and that's where it leads into the prequel to this, into the Captain Marvel movie, which also sucks. This movie's stupid. This is a 0 out of 10, and the big part of the reasons why. Look, I wouldn't mind if this was I probably wouldn't mind as much for this hate movie as much if it just didn't focus on probably the most blandest ass villain in Marvel history, Thanos, in the Marvel universe, studio universe. Because let's face it, this thing I say, Thanos doesn't really have that much personality. Oh, it's hard in here. Yeah, Thanos doesn't have that much personality. And, he just sucks. He's boring. Even though his motivations are interesting, he just, outside, doesn't have that much personality. And, he's just a purple version of Josh Brolin. It's just Josh Brolin, oh, yes. Like, Thanos, and this is different from the Thanos from the comics, and they went with, instead of going with evil, psychotic Thanos, they went with the most blandest, little to no personality version of Thanos you could imagine. And outside of his comic book accurate design and cool voice of like he sounds like what he sounds like what comic book Thanos would imagine to sound like. He just doesn't have any personality. He's just boring. Anyway, so that just gets so out of 10, and now Endgame, Avengers Endgame picks up right where Infinity War left off on, sort of. Yeah, it doesn't it doesn't open with the same exact identical scene. It opens up with it opens up much more like an epilogue to Infinity War. In fact, this whole movie feels like an epilogue and not really like a movie. The Avengers Endgame movie, it feels more like an epilogue. This one movie that's at least 3 fucking hours and 2 minutes long. I think it's like 3 hours and 2 minutes or 3 hours and 5 minutes long. Something like that. It's like, but it's at least 3 hours long, and it's just a 3 hour long epilogue. So yeah, the Avengers go to the planet after trying to figure out where Thanos is, and with the help of Nebula. After Gamora's dead, Nebula says because Thanos kills her to get the Soul Stone on Vormir. Because it's part of the whole bullshit. You have to lose what you love, and what he loves is Gamora. So yeah. Therefore, after they try to go to the planet to get Thanos to reverse what he did, turns out he destroyed the stone into atoms. Well, he didn't destroy them, he reduced them to atoms. As in, because there's 9, there's too small. There's atoms now. So axes his head off, and then like 20 years later, the Avengers pretty much don't want to be the Avengers anymore. So So yeah, remember how I told you that how Thanos killed Nebula on Vormir? Well, that's how Black Widow dies on Vormir. Over some sacrifice because some stupid female does. Hey, let's not take this away from Olaf and have and not kill Hawkeye. No one that cares about. Or this when you start. Let's just do this because this is should be the church moment, not Hawkeye's moment. So let's have the because originally it was Hawkeye supposed to die. So let's not have Hawkeye die. Let's have Romanoff die. Black Widow. The only thing that's good about this movie. Next to Thor. And Hawkeye has something going for him, but he's again takes himself way too seriously for Hawkeye character, and I know he's supposed to be Ronin, but he's never called himself Ronin, or anyone called himself Ronin, except for the writers of the film. So let's just do. You know what? Let's be stupid while we're at it. Let's kill Natasha Romanoff, the only one that clearly had a bright future for the MCU in the MCU, while Hawkeye not so much. To make a quality free act story for in a franchise, or a TV form or a movie form. Let's be stupid about it and lazy. Because the female dum-dum said so. Because that works for Marvel. She works for Marvel. And clearly it's an afterthought. And that's the whole thing. Most of this decision in this Endgame movie is just stupid. Stupid after stupid. You make Hulk and the smart Hulk, but he's just called Hulk. And not called Professor Hulk. He doesn't call himself Professor Hulk. He just calls himself Hulk. So I'm going to call him Hulk. And you gave him the most dumbest way you could have done this is that you, instead of introducing him into Infinity War like the originally going to, and also the directors were going to, you decided to introduce him in Endgame. Yeah, there was literally a scene where Hulk was going to become Smart Hulk, also known as Professor Hulk, and in Infinity War, there was literally a scene about how Bruce Banner and Hulk talk to each other and want to compromise up because they both want a life for their own, so they decided to live their life as one together. It's like that was way more. That was the best part of the movie, of Infinity War, and you removed it. And then so he is introduced 20 years later without any montage or anything. It's just like briefly explain while they're having breakfast at a diner, the Avengers. While talking about time travel. 20 years after the events of Endgame, this is set. Majority of the movie. And it's like, I can't remember what he said. I can't remember. Oh, he said he's working in this gamma exchange and he put bronze and brains together and made Hulk Bruce Banner personality. And now he's wearing clothing and glasses. It's just stupid. And he wears like the most faggot of all men's clothing, which is also open sweater that's open and a t-shirt. He looks like someone's grandma. He dresses like someone's fucking grandma. And so So let's talk about plot because this is confusing. So after 20 years time, there's Captain America's in a group therapy session with victims of the snap who have survived, or whatever they call it. Okay, and he's giving this and who also are war veterans, I guess, and he's not doing anything. No, the Avengers are doing anything except for Black Widow. She's the only one that still wants to be an Avenger. Blah blah blah. It's just, oh, freeze! Don't worry, that's not interesting. But Captain America says we don't have to do it. You don't have to be the Avengers anymore. So Scott Lang, Ant-Man, gets out of the quantum realm, out of this machine after he's legally considered dead, and reunites with his daughter Peanut, also known as his daughter that he calls Peanut, and she's now an adult now. And his little girl's all grown up. And the rest of his family is like snapped away and dead, including his partner Hope. That was the Wasp. And Hank Pym, the original Wasp. That was Van German died. So yeah. Anyway, he explains to the rest of the Avengers after reuniting with them. He explains that he comes with this idea of time travel, because for him, because he got the idea when he was in the quantum realm. He got this idea when he was after coming out of the quantum realm, because he realized he realized when he was in the quantum realm, he felt like he was only there for 20 minutes, not 20 years. So somehow that means that gives him the idea of time travel. Time travel. We're going down this rabbit hole again. It gets better. So not only do they go to Tony's like to say, hey Tony, how was they going to invent time travel machine? So Tony turns on the officer and says, no, because that's stupid and irresponsible and dangerous to do to mess with time. And he goes, yeah, that's dangerous. So they go to Bruce Banner, who's now Smart Hulk, and they talk about time travel in the diner. How he says yes, but he built the time travel thing, but he doesn't know how the whole time thing works. So before figuring out how time travel works, we decide to test the machine after it was built. Oh, why did I think of something genius like that? That's the guy that's supposed to be superior in terms of intelligence compared to Tony Stark. Yes, no, and I can't. The movie actually says that Banner is actually smarter than Tony. And how does it work? Well, not well for him. He turns into a 6-year-old Scott, and then into a baby, then into old man, then back into his regular age again. So, no, he turns into an old man first, then a baby, and then himself again after turning into a 6-year-old again. So yeah, and and after that's all done. Bruce Banner sees this as a good thing. Sees that they made some serious progress. So he says, time travel! He says, and they're all looking at him just serious, like, the captain probably will look at him like, seriously? Why are you doing that? Why are you like this is a good thing? This is not a success. And Bruce says, what? Oh, I see this as a really good thing. This is like a step forward. He sees this progress, what they did. All he did is create more of a mess. So he sees changing Scott's age with the power of time travel back into his right age as a leap forward. Being time travelers, actually fucking time travelers. But anyway, Tony makes up with him because overnight he figured out how to get time travel to actually work before building a time machine. Instead of Hulk doing that, instead of Hulk trying to figure out how time travel works, or any of the Avengers except for Tony, didn't think of how to figure out how the fuck time travel actually works is possible without being dangerous. So Tony's the one that thought that's supposedly not as intelligent, but it's more intelligent in this area. I'm confused, but Tony's not that intelligent. MCU Tony's not that intelligent because he's made too many stupid things, and that don't involve common sense. So in the past, so I find it hard to believe that he figured out that he was figuring out without even taking shortcuts of that he figured out how the time travel can work. But he did find out some, so he just figure out, and yeah, so.